Yo, what's up, Facebook? Welcome back to another edition of Titletown TV presents Sports Talk with KC. Also, we are also broadcasting live from YouTube, Spotify, as well as Apple Podcasts, and whatever you get your podcast needs from. But before we get started on the show, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to Titletown TV on YouTube as well as Spotify, Facebook, and Apple Podcasts. We have a loaded show for you guys tonight. Gonna talk a little NFL, some local football, NFL draft. Yeah, man, might get into a little NBA. But yeah, man, before I even get deep up into the show, congratulations to the Alabama Steel on their 55-8 victory over the Mississippi Dragons. I heard it was a great performance by the Alabama Steel offense. Um, can't wait to catch another game with them guys in a few weeks. They will be away next week at Fairhope Storm in Fairhope, Alabama. Please go check out your local semi-pro team, the Alabama Steel. Um, got more semi-local news. Um, the NFL suspends former Alabama and current Atlanta Falcons receiver Calvin Ridley for betting on games during the 2021 NFL season. When this news first broke, I was like, "Dang, man, Calvin Ridley really set out the season so he could bet games against his own team." I was just like, "Dang, man, do we have like another Paul Crew from longer jars type of situation?" He threw games. He actually played, but Kevin Ridley didn't play last season due to his mental health leave this past season. But yeah, I was glad to hear that he did bet with this team and to win, and that he would win game. That he actually won the game even without him. Um, but yeah, man, the other games he betted on were other teams were against and with other teams. He said he's only bet at 1,500, and that 1,500 cost him 11 million. He one of the top young receivers in this league in the NFL right now. I just it hurts me to see a young guy like him with so much talent, so much potential, to be delegated to being at home next season. This season coming up, because of a simple mistake. He could have easily, gave that money to, maybe a coworker, not a coworker, a family member, or I'm saying, a close friend or anything like that that he trusted to bet the games for him. Maybe, giving the money to him, and give him money that he won as well, some money that he won as well. But yeah, man, it's just a sad situation. I hate it for him. It's definitely a stupid mistake. Um, Hopefully, some of the guys in the run the league um, learn from his mistake. That the NFL isn't playing, man. This is probably one of those uh, NFL moves to show the league that they're not playing. They're not with the shenanigans. They're not with the bull crap. You do something wrong, they will get punished. I think the year long suspension is a lot. Um, Especially looking back at some of the other suspensions they've handed down over the years. Like Ray Rice, he got a couple games, suspended a couple games, and we had visual proof of him knocking out his girlfriend, fiance, or whatever, in the elevator, dragging her out of the elevator. Um, Let me see, Greg Hardy, guys like that. And just on domestic violence cases, Josh Gordon, if he would have just stopped smoking weed or tested positive for marijuana, he would have been fine. But it cost him 6 seasons in the NFL because he wanted to keep on smoking and testing positive for marijuana. Um, uh, I mentioned before, he's another guy that was a young good receiver at the time. Had made the Pro Bowl after missing most of the season. When he finally came on the field for the Cleveland Browns that season, he was the best receiver in the league. No, nobody could cover him. And this is not when Cleveland had Jarvis Landry or Odell Beckham Jr. guys like that to open up the field for him. He was practically their best receiver. Whenever he did play, I can't at this point I can't remember who was a quarterback at the time. Maybe Brandon Wheaton. If I'm not mistaken, that might have been him. I'm not really sure. It was so long ago. It was back when the Browns were really bad. Like we thought they were bad now with Baker Mayfield. But at least they made the playoffs with Baker Mayfield. Back then, they weren't even close to the playoffs. They were bad, bad. But yeah, man, that's enough about Josh Gordon. But yeah, man, costly mistakes, man, costly mistakes. Oh yeah, man, praying for Calvin that he could, find his footing. Um, his footing and stay, trained and ready to go for next season. Um, Not really sure what the Falcons are gonna do. I know they drafted Kyle Pitts last season, who's a receiver tight end hybrid. So they do have a receiver to or a tight end to take up their production. Of course they have Russell Gage as well in the slot. So maybe they pick up receiver in this year's draft and move on from Calvin next season. I know even before the suspension, they were looking to trade him anyway, and decided not to. Um, Looking back on it, it's looking like a mistake, but it'd have been an even worse mistake on whoever traded for him. When they did trade for him before the suspension would still would have came down. The NFL still would have found out. So yeah, man. Let's get into some more NFL news. Um, the Indianapolis Colts traded quarterback Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders today. Uh, they are swapping second round picks. Colts are getting an earlier pick in the second round this year, and as well as getting a third round pick to go along with that. I think it's a good deal for both sides. The Colts get to trade up and possibly, uh, you know, trade up for or trade up for a young quarterback, maybe a Carson Strong who might be available in a second. Maybe package a couple picks, get into the end of the first round, like maybe trading with the Lions or the Chiefs and the Bengals, guys like that who are at the bottom of the first round, and see could they possibly draft a quarterback or draft another need. Okay, don't have a first round pick because of the Forrest Buckner trade. Was that the trade? Uh, yeah. Um, they traded to the 49ers. Um, no, actually, I'm sorry, wrong. The Eagles trade for Carson Wentz. Yeah, hopefully they do get back into the first round. Um, and get them a young quarterback. They haven't had a quarterback since Andrew Luck, and even then, he didn't play very long in the league. He retired after a few seasons. Um, just couldn't stay healthy and chose his health over, you know, riches and fame and stuff like that. He will always be remembered. I know Darius Leonard showed his frustration on Twitter earlier, saying that been 5 seasons. He's been in the league 5 seasons, and they have 5 different quarterbacks. And I know it got to be frustrating for a great young player like Darius Leonard, who's one of the top linebackers in the NFL right now. Um, um, oh yeah, it got to be frustrating for a guy like Darius Leonard, who is a top linebacker and wants to, see his team succeed, wants to win in Indianapolis, who wants to bring a championship to Indianapolis. But one must wonder like how much longer do you stay in a city that's not winning or and are making crazy moves? Like you tried last year with um, Philip Rivers before he retired. I know he was older, so he kind of gets a pass. And so he wasn't as great as he used to be back in the old San Diego Charger days and his late days in L.A. for the Chargers. But um, it didn't work out as they would have thought. They did have a lot of weapons. They're steady growing. They do have Jonathan Taylor on offense, as well as Michael Pittman Jr., T.Y. Hilton. They still can produce, but he is getting older for a receiver. I think he's in 30s now. Um, the tight end, Jack Doyle, just retired. Uh, Great young offensive line, Ryan Kelly, Quentin Nelson, guys like that all along the offensive line. So they have some pieces this past season, and the year before that, it just couldn't pull it together, man. Carson Wentz, up and down all season. Yeah, so to get him out of Indianapolis was great for them. But let's get into probably the biggest trade ever for the NFL, especially for a quarterback. The Seattle Seahawks traded star quarterback Russell Wilson for tight end Noah Fant, uh, D lineman Shelby Harris, and multiple draft picks, um, including this year first round pick, ninth overall pick. Yeah, man, great trade for the Indianapolis Colts. No, Indianapolis Colts. The Denver Broncos. They were in the Aaron Rodgers trade rumor. Uh, Teams most likely to um, trade for Aaron Rodgers before he gets his big deal, his 4 year, $200 million deal. So they pivoted off Aaron Rodgers and was able to get I wouldn't. It's not much of a downgrade. He has won a Super Bowl more recently than Aaron Rodgers. He is more athletically gifted than Aaron Rodgers right now. A little bit younger, so it's not much of a downgrade. Of course, Aaron Rodgers is two-time MVP, back-to-back MVP of the league right now. But Russell Wilson is a more than capable quarterback um, for the Denver Broncos. Would make the Denver Broncos a playoff contender this season. I know that the AFC West can be very, very tough. Um, I do expect with him being in the division that the Raiders take a step back. While not saying they're going to suck or anything like that, they're going to be bad. It's just there's only three spots um, for the division to fight for in the playoffs, and that's the division winner and uh, yeah. So three out of four of those teams going to make the playoffs. I don't see uh, the Chiefs taking a step back. They should be much improved, highly motivated after the way they lost in the playoffs. Um, the Los Angeles Chargers didn't make the playoffs surprisingly after being so close, literally points away. A couple things, what I'm saying, get tossed around in the league. What I'm saying, another team loses that week, they they make the playoffs. The Raiders. I want to say local so bad, but the Las Vegas Raiders, a playoff fringe team right there on the bubble. Um, Probably next season. Now that they have a new quarterback in the division. Um, but yeah, man. Despite everything they had going on with the coaching change, GM being fired, Henry Ruggs story, we all know about that. Um, it was great to see them at the playoffs. It was great to see how um, Derek Carr bounced back from all those trade rumors and how he should be replaced and all that. He played great for them, man. Honestly, if the NFL made the MVP award literally mean what it's supposed to mean, like most valuable, who's the most valuable to the team, it should have been Derek Carr, man. Honestly, man, they had no position, they have no reason being in the playoffs. The games they won because of that man, Derek Carr. So, yeah, man, I've never seen in my lifetime a division with four great quarterbacks, let alone three at one time. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I mean, of course, Tom Brady's last season in New England was cool to see. The Bills have Josh Allen, um, but at the time he was a young quarterback. He isn't what he was now. Back then, that was 3 years ago now. So, um, yeah, man, let's get into some combine top performers, man. Um, uh, First off, we're gonna talk about don't wanna what I'm saying you know talk about this guy right here, but have to Georgia's own Jordan Davis, man. I was not a believer. Didn't think he was gonna test out this well, but dude, dude did his thing, man. Jordan Davis, congratulations, man. Uh, he might have catapulted himself into a top 15 pick, man. I don't see him making it past 17 with the Chargers, bro. Um, so yeah, man. I know there's been a lot of concerns about his pass rush ability, the lack thereof. Um, but yeah, man, at 6'6", almost 6'7", 340 pounds, and you running a 4'8", there's guys who are 6'4" at quarterback, 230 pounds, 230 pounds, not running that fast. There's little guys, who are short and slow, that tested at the NFL who didn't run that fast. But you mean to tell me you run a sub 4'8" at 340 pounds? That's amazing, dude. Um, Not sure what they drinking down in Athens, Georgia, but I need some of that. Uh, but yeah, man. If it wasn't for him, his teammate, the guy right next to him, Devontae Wyatt, blew the combine up as well, man. Yeah, blew the combine up as well. Uh, the exact time for Jordan Davis was 4.78. Who stands at 6'3", 304 pounds, running for 4'8" as well. So yeah, man, that kind of type of athletic ability, it's the reason why, um, it's the reason why Georgia was able to prevail over Alabama in this year's college football championship game this season. Their defense was is loaded, man. Uh, Another guy that's had day, um, a great day at the combine. Um, Trayvon Walker, man, another Georgia defensive player. Um, uh, Quay Walker, guys like that, man. It just was all around great performance for um, the Georgia Bulldogs, man. Um, James Cook, the running back, had a good day. Let's see who else from that Georgia team. George Pickens run a 4.38. After what I'm saying, a year removed from his torn ACL. So yeah, man, they really had. It was just a great season. Destined. They were. It was. I guess it was destined, man. That the guy they really showed that Georgia uh was a real deal this season, and those are the reason why, man. Everybody's athletic in every position, running back, receiver, defensive tackle, defensive end, outside linebacker, corner, safety. It didn't matter, man. Lewis Dean, safety, had a great day in the combine, man. Georgia, great. They won the combine, in my opinion. There's no team came in. Even Alabama didn't have, but they like that. Um, Speaking of Alabama, potential first overall pick Evan Neal had a great day. Came in a little lighter than he played during the season. He came in 6'7", 337, if I'm not mistaken. Um, in this year's uh, combine, um, um, speaking of O line, uh, Iki, as they call him, Akeem Iguanu, offensive tackle out of North Carolina State, had a great day as well. Ran a sub 4.5, yeah, a sub 5.0 in the 40-yard dash. Showed some lateral quickness as well as down the field speed for a guy of his size as well. Um, Potential top quarterback, Kenny Pickett had let me see, he ran a 4.73, which is faster than guys like Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, guys like that in the past who are top quarterbacks in the league right now. Not saying that translate to the position, but just thinking about where he is, you know what I'm saying, as far as past quarterbacks. Not saying he's gonna be good as them guys or whatever. He should be. I know there's a lot of concern about his hand size and all that, which I think he should still be fine. Um, Malik Willis, the guy who I think is the top quarterback in this year's draft, had a good day as well. Um, uh, I know it's not a run back league anymore, but Brees Hall and Kenny Walker both ran sub 4.4, uh, sub 4.39 and 4.38 uh, respectively. Um, Receivers, both the Ohio State receivers ran sub 4.3. Uh, Chris Olave ran 4.26, I think, um, one of those times, and then Garrett Wilson ran 4.38. Um, let me share some more guys. Oh yeah, Trayvon Walker I mentioned earlier, uh, 4.51 in the 40. Um, Devin Lloyd, a guy who they thought was going to test out pretty freaky. He didn't have a bad day. It was just more average for a guy his size, or whatever like that. But people thought he was just going to blow it up because of the way he played at Utah, sideline to sideline, was always in the backfield, was always making tackles in the run game as well as in coverage. It just seemed like idea that he would test out freaky, but he for his size and stature did not disappoint. But it wasn't what everybody expected. Um, Linebacker from Alabama, Christian Harris had the second fastest 40 among all linebackers. Um, Sauce Gardner, uh, probably this year's top corner. Um, Probably this year's top corner on a 4-for-1, which was great for guys his position. Trip McDuffie ran a 4.44. Another safety. Kyle Hamilton, similar um, to Devin Lloyd. Everybody expected him to test out just freakily athletic or whatever like that, but he was pretty average for a guy his size and stature. It just on the film he's played a lot better, a lot faster than when he tested out. So that's great because the film and the combine it where it doesn't necessarily match up. It matches up because of how he plays. He plays fast. He plays physical, whatever like that. What he looked like in shorts, it doesn't matter. You put on those pads, you put him in between the lines. He put him across from the best receiver, tight end on your team, or the running back or whatever like that. He's gonna shut him down. If you need him in the run game, he will can stop guys in the run game. Uh, Dax Hill from similar situation. The guy Daxton Hill from Michigan ran a 4.38 in a 6.57 three-cone drill. Um, yeah, but was one of the top safeties. He was one of the top safeties in this year's draft. So yeah, see all those guys do well. Was great to see. Oh, Charles Cross, sub 5.0 in the 40. Another top offensive tackle in this year's draft. Um, but yeah, man, those are my top performers of the NFL combine. Now let's get into my NFL mock post combine slash post quarterback trades, like we mentioned earlier. With the first overall pick, um I have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting uh defensive end edge rusher out of Michigan, no, out of Oregon, Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau, um, great freaky athletic edge rusher out of Oregon. Um, he isn't falling out of the top five in my opinion. I know there's some character concerns. Very cocky kid. Um, from what I've heard, um, possibly need to mature a little bit. But yeah, man, he should be a fine player. The Jaguars are getting a great edge rusher, and KT to pair with Josh Allen. Out for the last few weeks or whatever month. So I've been mocking Evan Neal going in this position, but they have franchise tag um, another Alabama offensive tackle, um, Cam Robinson, to be the offensive left tackle of the future, as well as come out and saying that Walker Little and him are their tackles of the future. So um, it might be smoke and mirrors, possibly looking to get a trade down, maybe third or fourth, fifth pick in this year's draft. I don't think they want to trade down too much further. With the number two overall pick, I have the Detroit Lions selecting Michigan edge rusher Aiden Hutchinson. Yes, they're getting a hometown kid. Some people aren't that high on him. I'm kind of one of them a little bit, only because uh, one of those guys like what have you done for me lately type of thing. Like so, um, he had a great season this year. His first couple seasons at Michigan were pretty average or below average. So for him to come on this season was very surprising. Um, but yeah, man, 14 sacks. Was the leader of that defense. Him and David Ajabo were another draft pick with a dynamic duo off the edge. Michigan led them to the college football playoff. Still trying to get the draft machine working for you guys. But yeah, man, number three overall pick, I have the Houston Texans taking offensive tackle out of Alabama, Evan Neal, to protect possibly their quarterback of the future, Davis Mills, or whoever they have at quarterback this season. Open up the holes for their running backs, giving the quarterback enough time to get the ball to their receivers, man. They do still have Brandon Cook. I know Cooks they're in a bit of a rebuild, so maybe they're decide to trade him or whatever um, to a more playoff contender who probably don't need a first round pick, who probably doesn't need their second round pick. Let's go. Um, number four overall pick, the New York Jets select um, Notre Dame safety Cal Hamilton. Uh, Great long, lanky receiver out of not receiver safety out of Notre Dame. Um, could play in coverage, could play in the box, doesn't matter. It's been the top player in his position for the last couple of years. So him being a top four overall pick is not surprising to me at all. Um, Number five overall pick, I have the New York Giants selecting um, Akeem McGuanu out of North Carolina State. A guy who will get consideration for the first overall pick or any of these top four picks at all, depending on how the board goes, how in the draft falls or whatever. But yeah, man, Iki, like I mentioned earlier, was one of the top performers at his position uh, at the combine this past weekend. All right, got the mock draft machine going for you guys. With number six overall pick. I was thinking quarterback. I was thinking also thinking a trade. right here, trading for Deshaun Watson for the Carolina Panthers. Um, but thought about picking a quarterback as well. And Kenny Pickett or Malik Willis. Uh, Still not high enough to put any of these quarterbacks in the top 10 um, just yet. So I think they were going with the safe pick, Charles Cross. They didn't select Panay Sewell last season or Rashad Slater, so let's get to the offensive tackle and go from there. Um, Number 7 overall pick, I have the uh, New York Giants, their second pick, selecting Trayvon Walker, edge rusher out of Georgia, pairing up two former Georgia Bulldogs edge rusher and Azio Ozolari, the Jets' top sack leader this past season, and Trayvon Walker should be a dynamic duo for years to come. Um, Atlanta Falcons, I had them selecting not a receiver. A receiver did cross my mind, and I was thinking a guy like Garrett Wilson, who is steadily coming aboard. He's my top receiver right now. But I And I was thinking Trayvon Walker, not Trayvon Walker, Traylon Burks, but the way he performed in the combine wasn't great. It wasn't as we expected to, catapult him further into the top 10. So I have him fall a little bit. But yeah, man, I had them selecting Ahmad Sauce Gardner with the number 8th pick. With the number 9 overall pick, I have the Seattle Seahawks replacing Russell Wilson. I think after losing a generational quarterback like Russell Wilson, it's not right for them to try to get um, a quarterback possibly of his caliber, or develop a quarterback of his caliber here. A guy who isn't as small as Russell Wilson, but does have small hands. Uh, Kenny Walk, Kenny Pickett, sorry. Um, he is my top quarterback. Malik Willis is. Um, but Kenny Pickett sitting behind Geno Smith or Drew Lock could benefit from seeing them on the field, and when the time comes, I think he's gonna be ready. He's one of the more ready quarterbacks. Him, Malik, and Sam Howell, in my opinion, for the NFL. So maybe half the season, the whole season, whatever it takes to get him ready for the big times. Uh, he would greatly benefit from a little time on the sideline. Um, and Kenny Pickett should be a star, man. Ran pretty fast. We saw what he did in that one game where he did the fake slide. So he's very athletic and move around. So even no matter how bad that Seattle offensive line is, we saw what an athletic quarterback can do for that offense and for that team. Um, with the number 10 overall pick. I was in between Dig Sting Jr. and Garrett Wilson, and I chose to go Garrett Wilson only because I feel like the Jets should kind of go back and forth with their picks. They have 4 picks in the first 2 rounds, uh, both top 10 picks in each round. I went with safety on the defense. With the fourth overall pick, I'm going to go with receiver here and Garrett Wilson. Uh, yeah, let's run through my top 10 before I continue on with my mock draft. Um, KT, edge rusher out of Oregon, number 1 overall to the Jaguars. Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan going to the Detroit Lions. Evan Neal out of Alabama going to the Houston Texans. Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame going to the Jets. Keem Aguanu out of North Carolina State to the New York Giants. Charles Cross out of Mississippi State to the Panthers. Trayvon Walker to the Giants as well. Ahmad Sauce Gardner from Cincinnati to the Atlanta Falcons. Kenny Pickett to from Pittsburgh to the Seattle Seahawks to replace Russell Wilson, and then Garrett Wilson out of Ohio State to the New York Jets. With number 11 overall pick, I know Carson Wentz did just get did just get traded to the um, the Washington Commanders, but I can still see them drafting Malik Willis. Man, it seems like a perfect fit in my eyes. Ron Rivera gets a um, mobile quarterback coming to what he had to Cam Newton. Not as big, of course, but a very athletic guy who can make plays with his arm and his legs. I know they have Carson Wentz, which is really a perfect situation for Malik. Honestly, he can sit behind Carson Wentz and get mentored by him, and they can talk about his struggles and how he overcome them over the years, and um, in Carson Wentz's position shouldn't be secure. He's been given up on the last couple of years by the Eagles for Jalen Hurts, and then as well as by the Colts. This past now, he's been traded to the Commanders. Um, so I don't think anything is secure right now with Carson Wentz. We'll see how he plays. We'll see how those picks turn out. That third round pick could be a second round pick if Wentz plays great. So that'd be great for uh, the Commanders. And once Big Willis is ready to play, ready to go, I can see them moving off of Carson Wentz, trading him or releasing him, however it goes, and giving Malik Willis the keys. As they say. Uh, I have Derek Stingley Jr. going right here to the Minnesota Vikings. They have the worst cornerback room in the league, even last year with Patrick Peterson, who signed a 1 year deal, so he's gone now. An older guy. I'm sure he'll land on a team, more likely a contender. I would love to see him stay with the Vikings and mentor another former LSU corner like himself and Derek Stingley Jr. On to the Browns. For the longest, I've had them drafting Ohio State receiver, and that's not changing. So this time around, I have them drafting uh, one of the fastest receivers in this year's draft, Mr. 426 himself, um, Chris Olave, a guy who came back for his senior season. He could have came out last season and been one of the top receivers in last year's draft. Um, but yeah, man, give Baker Mayfield. They clearly give him a normal year to prove it. Um, Not sure what Jarvis is gonna do. I think he's coming back next season, though. Honestly, but yeah, man, you have Jarvis Landry, you have Chris Olave now. As I'm mocking right now, you have a staple of running backs. You have three good running backs, and Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and Ernest Johnson. So there's no more excuse, Baker. On the top offensive line, uh, defense should be much better next season. So a guy like Chris Olave could help elevate that team back into the playoffs. Um, let's see here. Number four, the 14th pick, I have the uh, Baltimore Ravens selecting Trevor out of Northern Iowa, a run blocking beast. When I say beast, mauler beast, I mean mauler dude. Like would knock off any defensive end linebacker coming off the edge in the run game or whatever. Completely knocking his block off. I think the NFL will fall in love with him, man. Very physical guy. He is going to give you some penalties. He's a very physical guy. Um, Not saying that he's just gonna just go crazy with the penalties, but he's known to play a little physical, get a little handsy. But yeah, man, I think the NFL will fall in love with this guy. And Lamar Jackson needs some more protection. They do have Ronnie Staley at left tackle. But yeah, man, there's been a lot of talks about Lamar Jackson getting extended. I know he's not worried about it, but he's more than ready for the extension. Former MVP has taken the Ravens to the playoffs now a couple times, and it's time to reward him, man. A great quarterback is hard to come by, man. You don't want to be like the Broncos and trade a lot of picks and players to get one of the top quarterbacks. So the Ravens, you got a good one in house. Reward him, protect him, uh, continue to add to his weaponry. Um, With the 15th pick, I have the Philadelphia Eagles selecting Jermaine Johnson, edge rusher out of Florida State. I didn't know very much about him coming to this season, but see him being one of the only bright spots for the Florida State um, Seminoles this season. He stuck out a lot, and then seeing his draft stock skyrocket from the end of the season to now, even without playing any games. In between now and November, December, whatever it was, the last game was, um, it was great to see. Very interesting to learn a lot about him. To go back and watch some film on him, and to see how he performed at the combine. Everything checks off, man. I think in the beginning of this process, I had maybe a second round grade on him, and he's completely um, climbed into the first round now in the middle of the first round. So great to see that. With the 16 overall pick, I have the Eagles again, selecting Devin Lloyd. I got mentioned earlier with the combine stuff. Uh, didn't have the day that everybody expected him to have, but he's still a great player. Plays solid linebacker for the Utah Utes. This past season, could do it all: cover, play the run. It doesn't matter. Um, the Los Angeles Chargers. I have them going with Big Boy out of Georgia. Yes, Jordan Davis. With the number 17 overall pick, I told you he was not going to make it past the Chargers, and the Chargers needed him, man. The Chargers are getting a guy who to replace Lavelle Joseph. Um, in the future or here coming soon this season, but they need someone in the middle to third stop the run. They're one of the worst teams against the run. They do have Joy Bosa to upgrade their defense in the pass rush department, but getting a guy like Jordan Davis to stop the run, who you can kind of hopefully develop some pass rush skills for him, and he could really be a beast. Um, and Jordan Davis, um, I know that defensive tackle that 4.78 does not translate completely because he isn't running 40 yards downfield. He isn't a receiver. He isn't a cornerback or whatever like that who needs that speed, honestly. But to see a guy like that athletic and explosive, uh, you don't see every day. So I think the Chargers are gonna fall in love with him. Saints fans, y'all gonna be mad at me. I'm still taking Matt Corral for you guys, and it might be in a trade back spot, but I would take him right now. Avoid risking, the Steelers picking him, or like I mentioned earlier, with the Colts trading up. Tennessee's back there at 26, who could possibly draft a quarterback. Ryan Tannehill did not play good at all in the playoffs, and they're too talented to be a quarterback away. So Matt Corral is that pick at 18. Of course, Jameson Williams played last year. I mean, Jameson Williams. Jameis Winston played last season for the guys. Played great for him, but coming off a torn ACL, we don't really know where he is right now. Um, uh, Taysom Hill isn't the answer at quarterback. So isn't Trevor Penny, Trevor Simeon. But yeah, Matt Corral, being a guy who is from Ole Miss, we know that lineage of quarterbacks from Archie Manning and Eli Manning. Archie Manning actually played for the Saints. So getting a guy like Matt Corral would definitely be great for the Saints coming up this season. Maybe he does. Maybe he do bring back Jameis, uh, to be that starting quarterback. I mean, I would definitely would. But you know what I'm saying, having a guy like Matt Corral waiting in the wings, when they do get back good as they used to be. Great pick, great pick. Um, sheesh. Oh, we're at the Eagles now. Um, this was another tough pick. For me, honestly, I have them going with Drake London. One my top three, top four receiver in this draft, in my opinion. Possibly first overall pick, first receiver drafted off the board. And Drake London. I have been the Eagles select them because they seem like they have given up on Jalen Rigger. The fans don't like him, but a guy of his Drake London size and stature could definitely replace Jalen Rigger uh, for the offense. So yeah, man, Drake London is the pick. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers getting their QB of the future, and Sam Howell. Like I mentioned earlier, he's one of my top quarterbacks who are ready now. Um, played fourth season at North Carolina. Had a bit of a down year. Lost a lot of weapons last season to the draft. And you can tell that he wasn't very comfortable with some of the guys he had on the field. Definitely had a down year. Was considered him and Spencer Rattler considered the top overall pick coming up for this year's draft, and neither one of them played up to par. So, um, yeah, man, seeing him drop down to 20 was just great for him because of the way things have shaped up for the NFL, whether it's for himself. 20 is a great draft position for him. Okay, with the New England Patriots, I have them catching a edge rusher in their hands, George Karloftis, um, fall from grace. He didn't do anything bad to make him drop out of his top 10 draft position from the end of the season to now. It just other guys have risen, uh, possibly outperformed him and overlooked, and they finally went back and realized he isn't as ahead of those guys. Um, Combine wasn't bad, wasn't great either. So yeah, man, I think he is the type of defensive end edge rusher that the New England Patriots could mold into a Pro Bowler. They just released Kyle Van Noy, so he could definitely replace a guy like him at edge rusher. Um, Now we have the um, oh, we have Las Vegas Raiders right here in my face. Um, on the board now, I have them drafting Trick McDuffie out of Washington. Um, Great corner. Him and his running mate Kyler Gordon will be drafted this year, whether both in the first or a couple rounds, but they both will be drafted early. Okay, this thing just went crazy. I do not have the Arizona Cardinals selecting Andrew Booth Jr. I actually have them drafting Jamison Williams out of Alabama to replace Christian Kirk. a big speedy receiver. I mean, a nice speedy receiver out of uh, Texas A&M, who look like he's probably gonna be a free agent. They might try to bring back AJ Green. They still have DeAndre Hopkins. But yeah, man, Jameson Williams bring another element to their game, to their offense. David Ajabo, I have them going to the Dallas Cowboys, and not Tyler Linderbaum, as my board reads right now. My computer froze and kind of just started clicking everything. Um, I do have the Buffalo Bills selecting Devontae Wyatt, so that is correct. Um, Devontae Wyatt, like I mentioned earlier, along with his running mate uh, Jordan Davis, had a great combine. Uh, the Georgia defense in general had a great combine, so um, him playing next to Ed Oliver would make that Buffalo Bill defense even better, man. They are playoff caliber. They've made the playoffs the last couple of seasons. They were so close to being in the AFC Championship game, a couple points away. They couldn't seal the deal against Pat Mahomes, man. 13 seconds might be all you need. So getting the guy in the middle like Devontae Wyatt could definitely slow down a guy like Pat Mahomes, crash the pocket. Um, Tennessee Titans. I had them selecting Traylon Burks. He finally gets picked up. Yes. Traylon Burks out of Arkansas, not too far from Tennessee. Um, you put him in the slot with Julio and AJ Brown. It doesn't matter who plays quarterback at that point. If Ryan Tannehill cannot get it done with those three guys and Derrick Henry in the backfield, he's not the guy for you guys. Will Anderson, big time Tennessee Titans fan. Stram Crawford, one of my other good friends who are Tennessee Titans fans. Um, oh, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No, they're not drafting quarterback to replace Tom Brady. Um, they're too good to rely on a rookie quarterback. And no, just to get back to the playoffs or the Super Bowl. But yeah, I have to go with Johan Dawson to replace Antonio Brown. Um, he isn't the same caliber of receiver or same type of receiver as um, a Antonio Brown. I've compared the Jahan Dotson to Marvin Harrison. Smaller build, got great hands, could get first downs, could be a top receiver, also could be a great number two, number three. So he'll fit great between Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, who they just franchise tag. On to the Green Bay Packers. Um, open to resign a couple of the Smith brothers. I know they're probably going to be able to resign one of them, probably Preston. Um, but I had them selecting the Kobe Dean out of Georgia. They probably be losing Vontae Campbell at linebacker because of financials. Um, After the Aaron Rodgers huge deal, not very much money to spread around. So more important players will get you know that money to get their money. They did franchise. They're trying to franchise tag Demonte Adams, but he's probably gonna get a big deal instead. And if they could franchise tag one of the Preston brothers, they're not related, but definitely can see them franchise tagging one of those edge rushers and getting a guy like N'Kobe Dean to replace Devontae Campbell. Um, oh, the Dolphins. I have them drafting Tyler Lindenbaum. Uh, Center isn't a huge need for them, um, but uh, they can definitely reshuffle the offensive line to make the offensive line better. Right now they have Lynn uh, Issenberg. I'm not sure how to pronounce the name. He has a very weird name. He's more suitable to play tackle, whether it's left or right. They do have Austin Jackson, so him and Austin Jackson could definitely um, move to a tackle position, as well as having Robert Hunt and guys like that at the guard position. Zion Johnson is a possibility there. I wouldn't be surprised there. Um, uh, oh, um, the Kansas City Chiefs. I had them selecting wide receiver Christian um, Christian Watson out of North Dakota State. A small school receiver, but he's big, tall, fast. It was between him and George Pickens. Both are similar build. Both ran the 4.38. Um, but despite playing in a lesser conference, he is not coming off ACL. Is not coming off a bad season. Uh, George Pickens didn't have a bad season. It's just the way the Georgia offense was set up. It wasn't very receiver friendly. As now we see Jermaine Burton transfer to Alabama, who's more receiver friendly. Um, but Christian Watson is the pick here. He gives the Chiefs a different element at receiver. They have a smaller guys and Tyreek Hill and McCole Hartman at receiver right now, and of course they have Travis Kelsey who can play some tight end, line up in the slot. But yeah, man, having a big physical receiver who can get catch jump balls, can use his speed to get downfield and create some separation against the cornerbacks. Um, will definitely continue to show that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league. Uh, 31 overall. I have the Cincinnati Bengals selecting Bernard Ryman out of Central Michigan to be their right tackle of the future. Going forward, big physical guy in the run game and well as a pass game. Could definitely need to protect Joe Burrow. Those were the biggest issues this past season for the Bengals. Despite making the Super Bowl and nearly winning, you could definitely see if he had a couple more seconds, would have been able to uh, make some plays downfield and possibly win the game for them. So yeah, Bernard Ben Hart, Barnhart Ryman out of Central Michigan, the pick, and then for my last pick in this year's draft, I have um, the Detroit Lions selecting another Michigan player and Daxton Hill out of Michigan, like I just mentioned. Um, Great physical safety. Can play in coverage. Can play the run very well. Compares a lot to the Honey Badger, um, Tyron Matthew. So yeah, man, definitely can see him as the safety of the future for the Detroit Lions. He was. Ooh, I have a comment. So check out his comment on YouTube. Um, but yeah, man, Daxton Hill is the last overall pick in this year's draft for me. The first round for me. Um, if you like this, draft, this mock draft, please leave a like, a comment. Please comment some players you would have drafted instead in those positions. Um, let's see. Well, as hey, hit me up if y'all want to do a mock draft battle and see who could come up with the best mock draft. You know how we do it on this channel. You can take the evens, I can take the odds, or vice versa. It doesn't matter who I'm picking for. I have a draft pick for everybody. So, it's been a great show tonight, uh, full of content. Give y'all some a lot of NFL news. One thing I do want to leave y'all with: shout out to Kyrie Irving for his 50-point game last night. Um, yeah, man, it's always great to see him back on the court for the Brooklyn Nets. I know it's been a big issue with the vaccine mandate in the league in New York and all that. So just always great to see a guy who is standing up for himself and doing things his way. Uh, having success in the professional leagues. So yeah, man. But this has been Sports Talk with KC on another beautiful Wednesday night. I gotta go, you guys. You guys have a good night. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment to all the various social medias and YouTube and podcast venues that you guys use to find this and many of my, the Title Town TV content. Um, you guys have a good night. Peace.